Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is July 25th, and I'm back in Bangalore after the Mysore Big Tech Show, as well as the Green Intelligence and Clarity Retreat that we in Seeds hosted. It was fabulous 2 to 3 days in Mysore, a lot of activity, and the Green Intelligence movement is definitely picking up steam. So, stay tuned for more on that. Now let's go ahead and get started for today. Today's dose of Rashmi is logical intellect uses memory and imagination to justify the if-then model and will invariably keep you trapped in activities that are not fully aligned. Integrated intelligence, on the other hand, will guide you to set your intentions and choices in the now to work towards what you care for and performed aligned action towards that. So, for those of you who have been following this series along, you will recognize the shades of the origin quote. In that, again, the origin quote, just to refresh again, was a truly intelligent mind is neither influenced by memory nor deluded by imagination. And this quote expresses that again. And going back to the three layers that I have been addressing lately, the individual, organizational, and the societal. Let's look at this quote from that perspective. So at the individual level, when we are always chasing an outcome and we are trapped in this if-then model, we are always making life about, if I get this, I will be happy. And as I've said repeatedly, and even when you achieve something, there's a momentary 5-second high, then it's back to the grind. So as far as the real experience of you living the life, you're most of the time grinding. There are these momentary highs that you get, and then you continue being driven towards the next outcome. And that's how most of us end up living when we are purely led by logical intellect. And there's this famous quote, as well as the ancient Gita philosophy, that it is about the journey, not the destination. And that is what completely being present and in the now and setting your choices and intentions in the now helps you just be joyful all the time. That has been my personal realization through books like Power of Now, through my own journey. And that is honestly how I approach every single day. Just be present. Now is the only time we live. And that was the realization for me, that life is the ultimate product. Now, extending this at the organization level, there is an extension to that quote that I just shared, that while it is the journey, not the destination, what makes the journey really joyful is the company you keep. And that is where it is extremely important that you choose the organization that you're part of. And the organization lets you be what you are capable of being and not force you into being something else. Today, most organizations have a well-defined role, and the entire process is the organization interviews a candidate to fit a particular role, which is typically performing some repetitive task over and over again, which none of us is naturally inclined to do. So, and we are always trying to impress upon the organization that this is what I bring to the table. That fundamentally needs to be flipped. You should be trying to determine if the organization is a fit for you. The secret ingredient is you. Find the people who let you be you and are aligned with you so that you can perform aligned action towards what you truly care for. And this was a full display on the Green Intelligence and Clarity Retreat. The retreat overall, we had originally planned it to be a bigger event where we would invite people from the wider ecosystem and they would end up staying with us for the day-and-a-half retreat. The way it ended up eventually happening was the evening networking event. We had people from the ecosystem in terms of the actual staying part of the retreat and the next day morning part of the retreat, where we focused on wellness, yoga, meditation, and things like that. Was the core team, was us, the Seeds team together. And that turned out to be wonderful because that gave us the opportunity to really connect together as a team. And so far, I have been modeling the RASHMI.ai as an integrated intelligence organization. And the small team that we have, we all fully embody the philosophy of an integrated intelligence organization. As far as the Seeds team is concerned, because it is where we are trying to drive the ecosystem impact, we had not necessarily focused so much on the integrated intelligence organization philosophy, and the way the green intelligence and clarity retreat ended up unfolding, it just worked out. It was perfectly on display that the people that we work with, just let each one of them be what they are capable of being, and align on the purpose, work towards that. So that was a great result from the retreat without us really planning it that way. And in terms of outside of seeds, through my corporate life, and I'm sure the others will relate to this, most of the time in every corporate world, it is always chasing the results quarter after quarter. And even when you achieve a quarter, let's say you blew your numbers out of the water and you've been extremely successful, there are some congratulatory emails, maybe there are some awards that are handed out, and then it's back to the grind. The next day, the system's completely back to the grind. You could say that, okay, it's completely back to the now. However, that now is grinding towards the result for that quarter. It's not really in the now and just enjoying that moment. And that is the difference. In an integrated intelligence organization, you will always be in the now and just be able to work towards whatever you can bring to the team and work with other humans as well as AI doing what AI does best, so that you can focus on the unique contribution only you can provide. And now coming to the ecosystem level, which is what Seeds is an expression for. So at the ecosystem level, extending this quarter by quarter philosophy, right now we have designed at the ecosystem level, the larger ecosystems, any of the big networks focused on innovation, or even nation states, etc., or corporations. Everybody is engaged on a pursuit of growth to infinity as defined by economic returns. That, while money is a made up thing, that we have made up a shared sort of fiction, and sure, we can eventually make up stories which make the money grow, but there is eventually a constraint, which is the natural resources on this planet. So the growth to infinity is by inherent definition not sustainable. And that is where we end up fighting wars and create this us versus them narrative, whether it is at the nation level, whether it is at the corporation level. And because we want to extract more from the limited set of natural resources compared to another set of humans. That is the root cause of most of the conflict that we have going around right now. And that is where, if we shift to truly integrated intelligence ecosystems, these ecosystems will truly be focusing on regenerative outcomes versus extractive friction economy. And at that point, the growth becomes the growth that comes by just being fully present and aware and in the now. And yes, we will have to shift the economic value and how we ascribe economic value to outcomes which are more regenerative, more based on circular economy in general, versus right now they are all tied to extractive practices. That was at full display again, coming back to the green intelligence and climate retreat. As I said, the previous day, the networking event, that ended up, without us very overtly advertising it, it actually ended up being a fabulous event. We ended up connecting with several other like-minded people in the ecosystem, and it was a fabulous evening. A lot of new ideas came about, and a lot more will come up in the next few days, months, so stay tuned for that. And overall, it was clear that a lot of people are aligned to our type of thinking, and people get it that the current extractive practices are not sustainable. And if we continue on that, then just like we have always been looking for new sources of resources. Right now, if you think about, we are in this race to get to the space because we are exhausting the resources on this planet. So the idea is to go find new resources where we can continue extracting from somewhere else. And by all means, I am a huge supporter for exploring new frontiers, exploring space. And we should do that from the genuine explore and connect part of our brain, not based on planning to support an extractive economy. And that is how we will go from the friction economy to regenerative outcome economy. Really excited about how everything is coming together. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.